in the world.
What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. You can call me Captain James Holden if you'd like, or just, you know, Gangly Man. That guy over there. Welcome to CineWhoop Wednesday. we're going to be diving into the Hero 10 Bones that was very, very, very kindly sent over by Brain 3D for me to do some testing and not destroy. I'm happy to report that I did not destroy it. That was a big part of the testing was trying to not destroy it, which you folks that have been around for a while know that I have a hard time with. We're also going to be checking out all of the available Bones mounts at the moment for the again from Brain 3D. Shout out to Brian. And we're going to be talking about weight in CineWhoops. We're going to be looking at three different Cinesplores and a Tooth Fairy 2. We're going to be weighing some ducts. And we're just going to be kind of digging into what makes each one of these CineWhoops lighter or heavier than the one sitting right next to it. Because weight is a huge consideration with CineWhoops. Weight is a huge consideration with all of these things that we fly, because we're flying, and when you fly, you're flying. You're in the air, you're fighting gravity. There are so many reasons to build lightweight. This camp of people that are like, nah, it makes no difference, heavy for the win. I don't know, man. They missed the memo that said we're flying in the air, fighting gravity. But here on CiottiFPV's wonderful YouTube channel, we never forget that, and we always, if nothing else, if you build a lighter rig, but you still, for some strange reason, like the way heavy rigs fly, you put a big old battery on it, and then you get longer flight times, less sag, and you have to buy less batteries. What on earth could there's just no argument for that. It's just like the end. So yeah, we're gonna really dig into that with CineWhoops. It's especially important. I don't know if it's any more important than with any other rig. It's super important with any of these rigs, but with CineWhoops, it's just as important. The heavier the CineWhoop, the less accurate, the more dangerous. All bad things come from heavyweight CineWhoops. And the folks that have flown Cinesplore frames, I've yet to run into anybody that's flown the Cinesplore frame and hasn't been like, oh my god, this is the best flying CineWhoop ever. And that's you guys in chat, but that's also Jet, that's also Paul Nurkala. I think those are the only two pro pilots that I know of that have actually flown the CineWhoop, the Cinesplore rather, and the two of them have flown all of the other CineWhoops, and they were both just absolutely blown away. And it's the weight, like the Cinesplore frame. Like, yes, it has removable arms. It's easy to work on. It's easy to live with. Like, there's a million things that are great about it. But what those people and what those of you in chat have felt in terms of flight characteristics, it's just the weight. Like, the Squirt and a couple of the other CineWhoop frames, they're not as good, but there's nothing else that prevents them, flight characteristics-wise, from being any better or worse than the Cinesplore. They're just heavier, and heavier flies worse, especially with CineWhoops, because the whole point of a CineWhoop is that you're flying in really, really tight proximity spaces, thus the guards, right? The whole point of it is that you have the guards so that when you're flying down a tight hallway and you bump into the wall, you don't fall out of the sky and leave a huge mark in the wall. The only reason to fly a CineWhoop is if you want to be laser accurate, and the best way to be laser accurate is to get the weight down. So it's a huge, huge, huge thing, and we're gonna dive even more into it here tonight. It's something that I've talked a lot about. I've done a couple of Cinesplore builds here on this channel. I've kept the weight down as low as possible, but now we have another way of bringing the weight down on a Cinesplore, but it is not without some sacrifice. And we're gonna, like I said, dive into that in a little bit here. This is my full-time job. If you like these live streams and want to see them continue, head on over to CiottiFPV.com and just click all the buttons. Patreon helps me out the most. It's the very first link. For $3 whole you can join. Tons of benefits. Email notifications for these live streams, audio versions of these live streams, access to the Discord channel, the Facebook page, the Facebook group, I should say. You'll be eligible to get in on the Stick End Fund, where for as little as $1, you can get on the list of folks that's going to have every single stick end made sent to them so that you can try them out, see which ones you like. And a ton of other good stuff. It's well worth 10 cents a day, I promise. There's also an Etsy channel, a Fiverr page, a Teespring store where you can buy yourself something nice. Be that a piece of gear or hardware or a shirt or a sticker or one-on-one time with me where I'll teach you to fly better, build better, tune better. You want to take like 6 months off of your FPV adventure? I can help you out with that. I'm coming up on 6 years. And I was a motorsports instructor for many, many, many years, so I know how to break all these really complex things down into bite-sized chunks to save you a ton of time. And to be honest, save you a bunch of money. When I go through a build with you and I suggest parts for you to build with, those are parts that are not going to catch on fire and make you want to kill yourself. So help you, help me, help me, help you, me, you, me, you, me, you. In the chat, Paul McDonald was first, Grizz FPV, Riot 9, Chris NLFPV, Frank Nicholas, Paul McDonald, Denzel the Terrible, Frank Bernard, Robert Garcelone, my brain just went to shit, Dan636, shout out to Dan636 for sending over an AOS 3.5, much appreciated, brother. I'm gonna build this out as a for these bike races, and I'm gonna it's gonna be like the safest build I possibly can. I'm even gonna put these folding 3-inch props on it for just the ultimate safe rig for chasing cyclists. The American Criterium biking circuit is looking to bring me on in July, I think July 17th. For a race in Salt Lake City, and they want to book me for the whole season, but they just don't know if they can afford me. But they're definitely going to bring me out for that race, it sounds like, so that'll be awesome. They've got 9 more events this season. I would love to do them all. More info on that a couple of streams ago, live flying through their live stream, super rad. If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you gotta do is type CiottiFPV. When you do so, it'll light up an orange like that. You don't have to put an @ but you certainly can if you'd like. You can do that with each other too. If you want to get somebody's attention in chat, type their name, it'll show up an orange for them. Grizz says, what's up? Denzel the Terrible says, what's the story at all? Good to see you, Keeners, here early. What's the story with what, Denzel? I don't know what that's in reference to. Riot 9 says, what is with the cross-hatching on the Bones lens? That's the direct reflection from the grids that are on my lights. Brandon Woodford says, how's it going, man? CMYK says, what's up? JRFPV says, what's up? Jackalope says, CiottiFPV always finds the shiniest buildings. There's lots of them here in Atlanta. Rob Axon says, hey, gangly man, new job has me busy. Sorry, no worries, busy's good. YouTube just did the thing. There we go. Martin says, what's up? Rob Axelson says, looks like you're having a good hair day. Brain 3D's in the chat. Thanks again to Brain 3D for sending the bones over. I did not break it, Brian, so it will be going back to you in one piece, not all banged up. I will admit, though, I only flew 1 battery on it because I just don't want to smash the shit out of it. And, yeah, I have a tendency to do that. So, oh, actually, no. You know, I did fly a 2nd battery on it. So one of the questions that we'd gotten about the bones is, if you accidentally remove power from it while it's still recording, does it brick the entire recording? That is something that that is a problem with all of the naked GoPros. And for those of us that fly actual gigs, like working gigs where we get paid, that's a really big deal because sometimes we only have one shot at it. And if, you know, we get an amazing fly through and then we're super excited and we forget to hit stop on the GoPro, the whole, like, that's unacceptable. That is completely unacceptable. And that is one of the things that has kept me from ripping apart my Hero 6 and making a naked GoPro out of it. That is absolutely still a problem with the Hero 9 Bones. The first battery that I flew with it, I remember to hit the stop button. The second battery that I flew with it, the second battery that I flew with it was just to like back up the first battery and see. I was testing distance traveled and runtime. What actually happened is that the cable with the connector on it that GoPro gives you, it doesn't have a little latch on it like the Gep RC Hero 8 naked setup, and it fell out. Brian made this really cool setup here with a balance plug that pulls from the second cell, which I really like. I really like this little setup. Plugging it directly into your flight battery and then into the GoPro will definitely reduce the possibility of you just unplugging the quad while the camera is still rolling. You probably won't just unplug this from the battery, but yeah, this little connector that they give you is not the best, and it unplugged itself. Could you just glue it in? Absolutely. Would that be a pain in the ass? Absolutely. So yeah, that is a definite ding on the Bones, is that they have not built in any kind of a little, you know, that's not necessarily a problem with the Bones. That's a problem with not having a battery in your GoPro and either running it off your flight controller or, in this case, running it directly off the battery. So yeah, technically an easy solution, just, you know, plug it in here and then glue it down. But yeah, that scares me. The ability to lose the entire flight by making a very easy to make error. One of the big things on set is mitigating mitigating errors like this. The stress is huge. You're sometimes flying around, you know, people that like you've idolized for the last 20 years, and the worst possible thing is going to happen every single time. That's really how you, like, how do you be a successful camera person, right? Because that's what a drone pilot is on set, is a camera person. You mitigate risk everywhere. You come with 3 rigs instead of 1 or even 2. When you're building the rigs, you think long and hard about every eventuality and every possible thing that can stop working and fail. The reason why this is so important is that the film community is fairly tight-knit, and they can't afford for you to not get the shot that they paid you. It's not about the $1,000 that they're paying you. It's about the time, because there are, you know, they're paying 10, 20, 30 grand an hour in gear, rentals, crew, stuff like that. So it's a really, really big deal. And that's still something that scares the hell out of me about the Bones. So that's the first really important thing to kind of talk about, is that it's still a naked GoPro. Yes, it's made by GoPro now, and yes, you can get the GoPro $5 a month or whatever it is protection plan, and you can get 2 replacement Bones per year. And that's a really big deal. You know, with every single other naked GoPro, like this Gep RC Hero 8 one here, if you crash, and when you crash, these have a tendency to let go, right? Like, we've removed, like, the Heroes are not very durable as it is, and then you go and remove a whole bunch of the protection from it, and then you're left with something that's crazy fragile. That's a very expensive crash. You know, having a naked GoPro is potentially extremely expensive, because If you bang it into the concrete, there's a really good chance it's going to blow up. And so the Bones really does a great job at helping with that big issue. But that's just a money issue, right? Like, if you're independently wealthy, who cares? Just tear another one apart, build another one, whatever, and you're off to the races. But yeah, the Bones makes that a whole hell of a lot cheaper because you can get a couple of replacements per year as long as you're willing to pay $5 a month, which is a pretty damn good deal. Let's be honest. I'm really cringing at a lot of these freestyle reviews of the Bones. It's not a freestyle camera. Anybody that's flying this thing freestyle is going to have a really bad time because, like we were just talking about, this is incredibly fragile, and you're only going to get 2 replacements a year. So I don't really understand why anyone is putting this on a freestyle rig. But hopefully they never crash, which there is no such thing because our rigs fall out of the sky, you know. I'm not going to say all the time, but they fall out of the sky, you know? So, yeah, this is absolutely not a freestyle rig. If you see somebody flying this freestyle, scratch your head a little bit. Doesn't make any sense for that, in my opinion. So, yeah, let me get caught up on chat. There's a couple of points that I wanted to hit on really early. Let me get caught up on chat a little bit more, and then we'll keep going. Ricardo says, just want to say I hate C-clips. Crashed into sand, and now I'm cleaning the Toka 2004s. Yeah, C-clips suck. What's really annoying is a lot of these micromotors, not a lot, but some of these micromotors, probably those, have a 3mm motor shaft, and a 3mm motor shaft you can absolutely not put a C-clip on and put a set screw in. Christ, even a 2mm motor shaft you can technically put a set screw in. I guess the manufacturers are they just don't care, or they just don't have anybody in the building that actually flies, or for some reason maybe it's cheaper to do the C-clip thing. But yeah, it's really annoying that anybody still makes an FPV motor with C-clips. It's just a terrible idea. Dan636 says, no problem, dude. Glad you got it. Much love, brother. Thank you again, brother. Much appreciated. Metalderson says, just realized my first 5-inch flight was 3 years ago last week. I need some Fiverr sessions to catch up to where I really should be at this point. I would love to help Metal. Hit me up, message me outside of Fiverr if you don't mind. And Fiverr's messaging is just awful. But yeah, hit me up. Love to help. Martin Fuchs says, which CineWhoop frame would you build or use if you had to pull off a roughly 80-foot dive to start, but then you had to fly close to people after? Martin, there really is there's not one cineframe that's going to do any better of a job at being aerodynamic than another. Ducts and prop guards are incredibly not aerodynamic. So yeah, there really isn't one that's going to do much better than the other. The CineWhoop is, the CineSplore is the best of the CineWhoop frames in my and many others' opinions. So yeah, just build the best one and then just deal with the horrible aerodynamics that are flying with prop guards, prop ducts. The CineSplore has a whole bunch of different ducts available. You can get molded ones from CiottiFPV. There's a whole bunch of 3D printed ones on Thingiverse, and then over on FPV Cycle, he's got a V3 and a V4. The V4 duct is going to give you the best flight performance, but it's going to give you the worst amount of prop protection. I would not feel comfortable flying that V4 duct around people. It's also pretty fragile. The V4 duct, it feels like you almost need to hand catch the rig in order for the ducts to not break. I broke them on a regular old landing, and Reed in the Wind broke them on like a 4-inch. He disarmed at like 4 inches above the ground, and they just exploded. So yeah, it feels like hand catching is kind of necessary with the FPV Cycle V4 ducts, and they don't really offer much, if any, protection. That's not true. They don't offer much protection flying around people. There's a really good chance, much like the prop guarded rigs, like the Cinelogs and stuff like that. You know, those really are not for flying around people. There's a really good chance that you could make somebody bleed with those rigs pretty easily. So those are more for like chasing cars or just, you know, I don't really know what else. But there you go. Meldrickson says that's real disappointing for that kind of money. They could have put a super cap or something to preserve the memory while it writes out the file. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. I don't understand. But McConnell Studios says I clipped the plug on that naked GoPro and designed the mount with a retainer because the snap plug ripped the connector out on the other BEC boards. In a crash, the board isn't destroyed. Interesting. So you put this nice latched plug on here. I think the easiest thing to say in terms of naked GoPros and the fact that you have to plug them in is that you're going to want to glue the plug down. You're going to want to glue the damn thing down, and maybe make the other side of the wire detachable. To be honest, my favorite setup right now is what Brain 3D did, which is just to make a balance plug, have it pull off of the second cell like that, and then because again you're much less likely to unplug this from the from your flight battery without hitting the stop button on here. Having the naked GoPro powered by the flight controller, that scares the hell out of me, because when I get done flying, there's a chance that I'm just going to unplug the quad, because you don't want the quad plugged in, right? Like the quad being plugged in while it's not flying, the Vista overheats, the VTX overheats. It's dangerous, right? There's all these reasons to get your quad unplugged in a hurry when you land. Maybe you over discharge the battery and you're like, no, I don't want to kill this battery. So yeah, this makes much more sense to me from a I don't want to lose my footage standpoint, which is a really, really, really big deal for me. So, what else we got going on here? Ricardo says, regarding unplugging before hitting stop, when opening the file in Studio 360, Insta360 software, I own an SMO 4K, I get a corrupted file, then tested with GyroFlow, and no joy, does not work. Yeah, it's also kind of insane to me that there probably is a piece of software that exists that can take these corrupted files and fix them. I haven't seen it, though. I would think that would be like a common thing that we would have heard of, but, you know, what do I know? But it's a huge problem. It's a really, really, really big problem. 661FPV says, that's one thing I love about the Runcam split cameras. Auto start, auto stop recording. Never had to push any buttons. Just plug it in and fly and unplug. Yeah, it's true. There are solutions to this. People have... It's incredible that GoPro has not... I don't know. 661 said, you think a big company like GoPro can make features simple as autosave on power loss? Yeah. I mean, although this camera... Like, let's be really honest, right? This is like one person in their manufacturing facility, wherever GoPro manufactures their stuff. This is one person who sits there all day, every day, and he just gets a box of the motherboards and a box of the lenses, and then GoPro had the minimum possible run of the outer plastics made. And it's just one person that's sitting there banging these things out. So this was not, because they're never going to sell more than like 1,000 of these, right? And of 2/3 of these that they sell are going to be sent to people that have blown them up. So yeah, this is not like to expect them to make any kind of a change on this camera versus their regular 8s. Is just unrealistic. It is unbelievable that GoPro made this. This is ridiculous. Like, I really cannot get over the fact that they made this. So yeah, expecting them to do anything outside of the norm that's in the regular GoPro, it makes sense, right? But my God, would it have been nice, But realistically, it just doesn't make any sense. Bob Noxious says, what's up? Cool, we're caught up on chat. All right, so let's dig in. There's going to be a lot of weighing here tonight because that's one of the biggest things that I'm kind of interested in here with these CineWhoops. So here's an interesting place to start. This is... What the hell? Oh, there we go. This, I thought the camera was sideways. It was just the lamp being all jacked up in the game. So this is the base of my CineSplores, essentially, and it's got the super lightweight. We'll take the thumb nut, the thumb screw out of it even. So this is where we kind of start. This is my preferred CineWhoop setup here. The CiottiFPV molded ducts. These are molded by HQ out of that like sort of indestructible HQ plastic. And then 20 by 20 stack. This is an ever so slightly heavier ESC than it really needs. I just did that for absolute durability. Full-size regular old Vista in here. I could have a lighter camera. This has the silver big-ass DJI camera. I did that because this was being used for that live flying gig, and I wanted the best quality camera possible. Newbie Drone 2004 motors, which are not the lightest 2004s, but they're within like 1 gram to 2 grams. Gemfan D76, of course. These are the best props for the CineWhoops that I've found. Small antenna, pretty slimmed down TPU setup. Just these tiny little TPU hangers for the Immortal T. Tiny little piece of TPU for the antenna here. Of course, this mount base, and then just super simple little TPU for the camera mount. Slimmed down as much as I possibly can without sacrificing like durability or any of the other things. 2 battery straps. One of them, the thick one with a plastic buckle, and then the thin one with a metal buckle, but it's a really thin little battery strap. So this is like this is a good realistic CineSplore. So we're gonna get a weight on this without any HD camera setup. So this is kind of like a little starting point here, and we're coming in at 271. I think that says. Let me get it more centered on here. Yeah, 270 point something. So let's just say 270 grams is kind of our starting point here. Yes, you could build this a little bit lighter, but not by much. So then let's just get a bunch of weighing out of the way first. Now we've got the Tooth Fairy 2. This is 20 grams lighter in terms of the frame and the way that it's built. Same kind of deal, Vista, DJI camera. This has a slightly lighter ESC in it that's also less durable. Axis Power 2004 motors, which are a little bit heavier than the Newbie Drone motors. Bigger chunk of TPU in the rear here, but no TPU needed in the front because of the vertical standoffs. And a full-size Hero 8 chunk of TPU up on top here, but with no camera in it. So now we are up to 274 grams, which is not bad. This TPU here is significantly heavier than this piece of TPU here. The motors are heavier, but that's offset by the frame being lighter weight. So we're creeping up, 275 for the Tooth Fairy 2. Now we move up to another CineSplore here with much more TPU. This is another Hero 8 mount. This is a beefier Hero 8 mount, right? Like this is the like minimalist Hero 8 mount here that's not going to give you as much protection. This is a much more protective Hero 8 mount. I'm willing to run these mounts because the last thing that I want is for the Hero to blow up if I do crash on a gig. It's worth the couple extra grams to have more protection on the Hero 8. So what else is going on? So these are the lightest of the 2004 motors. These are the now discontinued Brother Hobby VY 2004 3150 kV. Similar kind of TPU setup, although this does not have an Immortal T. This has an Immortal L kind of setup here. These are the V3 ducts from FPV Cycle. And this has also got a heavier ESC than it needs. Oh, this is also an analog rig. So this is not a great comparison point. It's got a really lightweight little toothless nano camera in it and a really lightweight VTX, but we'll throw it on the scale anyway, just to kind of move our you know, keep our little internal barometer for weight moving around. So this one's coming in at 272. This also has a setback mount on it. This Brian from Brain 3D pushed the GoPro back on this mount. I had him push it back like 13 or 15 millimeters, and that was a little bit too much. You do get a little bit of duct in view with this pushback mount. He sent me a 20-degree version of this mount, and it's totally fine. There's no duct in view, but this 10-degree version of the mount. What is cool, though, is that as soon as you put this footage through RealSteady, that little bit of duct goes away, and we're gonna take a look at that in a little bit here. I did a quick little edit with some of the flight footage. And now, last but not least, we've got a rig that McConnell Studios sent over here. I'm going to take the Naked Hero 8 out of it real quick here so that we're doing all apples-to-apples comparisons. Lighter weight propeller, heavier weight motor. These are the FPV Cycle 2304 motors. 3D printed ducts, a lighter weight ESC in here. That's a little bit less durable. This is like, you know, like a standard micro stack that's in here. The good GoPro, the good DJI camera, bunch of big TPU up front here for the camera mount. So there's a little bit of wasted weight here, and then big TPU here for that antenna mount. We could we could lighten this thing up by 4 or 5 grams pretty easily by slimming down this TPU. But what we're about to see is that this rig is pretty lightweight as it is. Or not. 289.5 grams. This rig is lightweight when it has this camera on it compared to the other rigs with cameras in them. So I'm actually really glad that this is 290 grams because I was really confused on Monday, I guess, when I put this rig on the scale with this camera in it and compared it to some of those other rigs. So we're going to get to the bottom of that confusion in a minute. But this rig, heavier motors, a lot of extra TPU. I don't know what these ducts weigh. We are going to be weighing some ducts in a little bit here. But yeah, 290 grams. It also has an ND filter in here, which is glass and heavy. So, all right. So there's some base weights for us on these things. Why am I so dark? Hold on. There we go. Oh, that's gonna throw the other. It's gonna throw the other one off. So let me bring. Oh, farts. That's not what I wanted. There we go. That should be a little bit better. Yeah, it's a little better. All right. So there are some weights for us to start out with. You know what? Let me actually let's talk about the Hero 10 bones for a minute. Let's take it out of here. Look at this mount. Look at this mount from Brain 3D. Look at this latch on the mount. This latch is really nice. So to release the latch, you just pop it up. To latch it though, there is a little bit of a trick that Brian told me. If you pull down on the TPU right here in the front of the latch, it makes it way easier to just get it latched. If you don't do that, you end up kind of, well, it's still pretty easy. It's still pretty easy, but look at that latch, man. Look how, and just, of course, you know, you guys know, Brain 3D's quality is absolutely ridiculous. So this is the full-size mount, and it's got this really cool little strap here on the side to hold the memory card in there, which is really important. This little strap is absolutely genius, and it's kind of keyed, and it like snaps in, and it's very satisfying when you put it in here. And so yeah, I really dig this mount. And but yeah, let's take a look at the Hero 10 bones. I kind of glossed over that. I know a lot of you guys haven't. I hadn't seen it until a couple days ago. And we can also weigh it. next to the Gep RC Naked 8. So here's the GoPro Bones. Not much to really say about it. It's a Hero 10. It's a Naked Hero 10. This little mounting point is really nice. I'm really glad that they put that in there. That's really going to let you save weight. What is going on with the exposure on this camera? Can you, like, Logitech, can you make a camera that works? Maybe? Or is that out of the question? Advanced brightness up. Okay. Huh, it's having a hard time. Yeah, I don't, oh God, I don't really know what to say about the Bones. There's tons of reviews out there where the people say, hey, look, and then they say all different words, but it's a Hero 10 Naked. There's not a whole hell of a lot to say, if I'm completely honest. It is 60 grams, 59.6 grams, so just 60 grams. The Gep RC Hero 8 setup, wow, is 27 grams. Wow, that is a huge difference. Oh yeah, look at that. There's what McConnell's talking about. He glued that nice latching connector in there. Very cool. Why is this so heavy? It feels heavy on this side here, which I guess makes sense. Like there's this big brick. They I don't know. I mean, the Hero 10 is a lot heavier than the Hero 8, so maybe that has something to do with it. This has a bigger glass lens part on the front here, which is definitely going to weigh something, versus the... Wow, okay. So... What's it weigh again? Does it weigh what a session weighs? Not quite. 20 grams lighter than a session. So, I mean, 60 grams, that's a hell of a lot better than... Where's my Hero 10? Ow! Where did I put it? Here it is. Awful lot better than 120 something grams that the full size Hero 8 weighs. Which is... Hold on, let me move the chat over. Alright, cool. Athix says, flew the Octo today, was astonished by how it flies. It can juicy flick it like a toothpick. Brain 3D says, did you get the package today? I did not, but I haven't been to the mailbox, so it might be in there. Ricardo says, Joshua Bardwell made a couple thorough videos 8 months ago about Pinio tutorial to start-stop recording with an aux switch. Yeah, so that's how McConnell has this set up. It's an interesting idea. I haven't really thought of that, but I don't know. Still kind of scary. Metal Dixon says Tooth Fairy 2 is at 293 with the 23mm motors, Darwin FPV stack, 5-blade props, Hero mount, MR30 connector, probably a bit 2. And, alright, cool. Caught up on chat. So 118.0. My Hero 8 is a little bit lighter because I removed the this bottom panel with the thingies. That's an 8 gram savings right there. So yeah, it's half the weight. It's half the weight of a non-naked Hero 8, which is a really big deal. I don't know what else to say about the Hero 8, the Hero 10 Bones. I love that it exists. So we got a couple buttons here. On my side, I had to go to Google and type in Hero 10 Bones QR code. And then I was able to point this thing at a QR code to reset it. And then I was actually able to use a little thing on that same website to dial in all my settings. And then I just pointed it at the QR code and it locked all the settings in. And then you power it up. You feed it power through here. You hit the on-off button. That brings it on. It's got a little red light here that flashes. It flashes once to tell you you're in video mode, twice you're in photo mode, 3 times you're in time-lapse. And then here's the on-off button here, and that's it. There's no screen on the front. You can, I assume that you can link it up to GoPro Quick and get your viewfinder and adjust your settings in there. But it's really nice that you can do stuff with the QR codes, to be really honest with you. That's pretty slick that they built that in. So yeah, that's the Hero 10 bones. Same quality as the other as the existing Hero 10, which is great. The quality is awesome. Somebody in chat said you can replace the lens. I can see where there's a big seam around here. I'm not gonna rip it off, but yeah, it's cool that you can replace the lens. So, all right. So now we're gonna talk about the Brain 3D mounts, because to get this thing to survive a crash, having a proper mount is going to be a really big deal. I love, like I said, that they put this little guy on here so that you can just mount it up on that. If you absolutely are sure that you're not going to crash, you can mount it with this thing and it'll save you the maximum amount of weight. But I will absolutely always sacrifice a couple of grams to put it in a proper mount. And Brain 3D has 3 at the moment of these universal style mounts with the with the little GoPro. I don't know, what is this called? Is there a name for this? GoPro ears, I guess. So they've got a full what I'm calling like a full protection mount. This is the most protection that you're going to get. It's going to take hits up on this corner, up on this top corner, and then it's even going to, if you really crash it weird, it might clip over here. I doubt you're ever going to hit these. But yeah, the really nice thing about this is that in pretty much every crash, it's going to be TPU softening the hit before it gets to the brittle plastic of the actual case itself. Danny R says knuckle tab mount. That's it. Thanks 661. I think that's what it's called, tab mount. So this is the mount that I would recommend. Let's see what it weighs real quick here. So you're looking at 23.2 grams. So that's full protection for 23.2 grams. Really nice little latch on the top, and then a little piece on the side to keep the memory card from shooting out. Then we've got the vertical version of that mount. It's the same exact mount, but it's got the little tabs off on the bottom here so that you can mount it like that and get your Instagram vertical video. Should be pretty much the same weight. A little different, 25.7, but similar, 25 grams. We'll just say both of the full protection mounts are 23 and 25 grams. And then this is the slimmed down mount, which is still going to protect you up on this corner. You're going to get a little bit less protection here, and you got no protection off on the side here, and you also don't have that strap holding the SD card in. And this is coming in at 15 grams here. Let me put it into this mount so that you can see the protection that it gives you. The Brain 3D mounts also come with a slot here for ND filters, which is a really, really, really big deal. That's really nice that Brian puts those in there. The ND filters fit absolutely perfect, and they work super well. It's also got kind of like a groove in it here so that it doesn't just like pop out. The ND filters sit in there really nice. So here's what I mean. This corner is completely exposed. So there's definite potential that you can slam this thing on this corner and it's not going to like that. Hitting the TPU is like hitting a little airbag. It's going to give you a little bit. I know TPU feels kind of hard, but it really makes a big difference to hit on TPU rather than hitting directly on the case of the camera itself. So yeah, if you want to still have some protection on this corner, this mount is going to be really good, and it doesn't weigh all that much. I think if you're thinking about using the if you're thinking about going raw and just mounting it here, I really think you're going to be better off with this guy. And then of course you've got a couple of grams for this piece here to lock everything else in on. Now let's talk about these thumb screws. Brian from Brain has been doing some work to get the weight down on these thumb screws. And so these are his two standard designs here. I'm going to put the nut on there as well because you have to have the nut. So these are his two current designs, standard kind of thickness. And we're looking at 7.3 grams for this one and 6.8, so just 7 grams. So 7 grams for his standard thumb screws. But he's got a new thumb screw coming, and I think he said I have the only one. And it's just a little bit lower profile, but a lot lighter. That is 3 grams. That's a really nice weight savings. What's nice is it is big enough that sometimes when you go really small on these thumb screws, it becomes really difficult to get your fingers on them once the mount is up in there. You know what I mean? But this one here that Brian's been designing, it's not like that. Is it a little bit harder than the big, thick, heavy ones? Sure, of course it is. But this is, it's kind of like just right. It's the best kind of mix, I think, of being able to get at it versus it saving you some weight. Also remember that all this weight that we're talking about is all the way forward on the nose of these rigs. So it's really important to kind of keep that in mind, because that's a big deal. That really does matter. Weight all the way on the nose or on the ends of the arms. It's almost like that weight has... It's like worth more. It's worse. It's worse having weight that is that's far out like that. So it's really important to save, a gram here or a gram there when you're talking about weight on the ends of the arms and up on the nose of the rig. So there you go. There's an example of how this smaller thumb screw is still very easy to get. I haven't cursed once, and that's a first. So there you go. Now what I want to do is get some weights with the cameras mounted on these rigs. And if you want to cross-reference the weights that I already gave you of these rigs without the cameras in them, you can, because there are some variances between these 4 rigs. But, I'm just going to kind of like throw this data out there. What you do with it is kind of on you. But these are some, real-world examples of a couple of rigs that, have these different camera solutions on them. So this is the lightweight thumb screw with the full protection TPU on the mount base, and then this is the Newbie Drone motored CineXplorer with the Newbie Drone 2004s. I'm not going to bother putting any batteries in these tests because I might not fly the same battery as you. This is coming in at 356.8. Call it, 356 grams for a CineXplorer with the Hero 10 bones on it. Next up, we've got this analog CineXplorer, just for shits and giggles, with the full size Hero 8 on it, and that's coming in at 390 grams. And then this is a little bit more realistic of a contender, because this Tooth Fairy 2 is very close in weight to this CineXplorer that we just weighed. So the Tooth Fairy 2 setup is coming in at 392 grams with the full-size Hero 8 on it. And then the lightweight King, because of how light this guy is actually McConnell's rig, which is at 316.5. Here's something really interesting, right? You could absolutely put this camera on one of these lighter weight rigs. So here's the Tooth Fairy 2. You can imagine this mount here being slimmed down a little bit. But this would be really like the lightweight King here. And wow, this is almost sub 300 grams. This is only 301 grams. That's wild. This rig would fly ridiculous with this setup too, because these motors, this power train selection has been designed for this. This rig with this little lightweight Gep RC Hero 8 naked, which if you crash and break it, you're just assed out. This would fly the absolute best. This would be kind of nuts to fly this thing around. So there you go. There's a whole bunch of weights and numbers and thoughts Let me get caught back up on chat real quick here. Chomper FPV has joined the party. He says, "What's up, collective? How you doing tonight? Saw your ultimate footage. Looks pretty awesome." What ultimate footage, Chomper? Oh, ultimate frisbee. Yeah. So after I did these tests that I'm gonna play for you guys, I flew around some ultimate frisbee folks, with their permission, of course. With which rig did I use? I wanted to put the 10 bones up in the air to do that, but I was afraid. So I actually flew the Tooth Fairy too, with the full-size Hero 8. Right. Brandon's Baked Bean says, "I have 2 of those, been testing them for 2 weeks now." 2 of what, Brandon? The Hero 10 bones is? Denzel the Terrible says, "I can't believe I'm spending my Wednesday night looking at boners with you and with all of you in CiottiFPV." Brandon says, "I used a sunglasses ND filter on my boners, and I'm mounting them fully naked for crash testing since I probably won't get to keep them. I'm writing a review for my magazine." Very cool. Very, very, very cool. Use the included adapter cranked on super tight and then put them on a GoPro style TPU printed angle mount with a nut and bolt. We need to figure out how to make the wind noise on those Bones cameras not suck. Have you heard your footage yet? We're about to all hear the footage. I did notice that. But I mean, I don't use any of the... I think the audio is useless on all the Heroes. The only audio that I have any interest in is the Session 5 audio. So it doesn't really bother me how bad the wind noise is on the Boner. Looks like Brain 3D is waiting and says 2 weeks max. The lightweight thumb screws will be here. Let me look at something. Oh, no. You know what I want to do? I want to weigh a couple of these ducts. I didn't realize this was so lightweight, though. This being so lightweight totally explains the humongous difference in weight between a couple of these rigs that was kind of melting my brain on Monday night stream. But I do want to weigh a couple of these ducts anyway, because it's just a good sort of data point here. So first one I want to weigh here is the CiottiFPV duct that is poured by HQ. Unfortunately, Stan does not put brass inserts into these ducts. So from CiottiFPV, these ducts are actually not durable at all because he's got screws going into the plastic and that's it. And the first time you crash, it's going to strip that plastic out. You can go on Amazon and get these brass collars, and they will make these the most durable of the mounts. McConnell put these ones in. It's not all that hard. You drill it out a little bit, you put them in there with your soldering iron. It's really not bad at all. So let's get a weight on these, and then I'm going to pop one of these I believe these are from Thingiverse, right, Matt? So there's the HQ duct on there. Give the scale a second to chill out. So we're looking at 11.5 grams for the CiottiFPV duct with the brass inserts in it so that it's actually durable. These are the ducts that I prefer. They're not the tallest duct. They're not the shortest duct. They're somewhere in between. They have great protection in case you're flying around people. They're super strong. You're never going to have to worry about well, not never, but compared to the 3D printed ducts, it's going to be way, way, way more durable. So 11.5 grams for the CiottiFPV molded duct. And then this 3D printed duct, I believe from Thingiverse, is 15.3 grams. So very, very, very similar. And this is pretty stout, man. Like this will definitely break before the molded duct, obviously. But this is still a pretty stout duct. The weight of the duct is in direct correlation with how strong it is. I know that's kind of obvious, but if I didn't say it, somebody wouldn't realize that. Somebody out there benefited from me saying something so obvious. Hold on, let me just get these thrown in here. I also want to grab one of the Cloud 149 tall ducts and give them a quick spin on the scale. And I'm also going to pull off one of the FPV Cycle V3 ducts. I don't think I have any of the V4 ducts anymore. but I will take a quick look. I know 2 of them broke when I landed the quad. I don't know if I saved them or not. Okay, let's put this guy. Hold on a second. Ricardo says, could a 1.6-inch 2S haul that GEP-RC naked GoPro 8? Probably, yeah. What's it weigh again? I feel like it weighs almost what a 26.5 grams. Yeah, that weighs what an Insta360 Go 2 weighs, and that is like specifically what I've built those tiny lifters to weigh. So yeah, absolutely. The only problem is trying to figure out a mount solution for it. It might be tough to figure out a mount setup for it, but the answer is yes, my friend. Okay, so let's weigh one of these V3 FPV cycle ducts. These are a lot more flimsy, and so these should save some weight. I do not fly these ducts if there's any chance that I'm going to crash. The only reason I put these on is that this is the analog rig, so it wasn't going to be a real solid part of the testing anyway, so I just said what the hell, and I threw these on just for the sake of it. Wow, and they're not even all that light. 12.4 grams. So yeah, fragile duct, V3, 12.4 grams. Throw these back in here. I can't, I don't want to make a huge mess. But I also don't want you guys to have to watch me. Oh man, really? How the hell did I lose one of the screws? Are you kidding me right now? Oh, that's good to know. I had these in the wrong spots. Where'd that other screw go? Chat, did you guys see where it went? Better not be on the floor. Danzilla the Terrible says, got my money to give away, prize in the mail today. Thanks, you were amazing. And I'm eating the sweet tarts now. You can thank Brain 3D for those sweet tarts. I recycled them. I re-gifted them. If you guys have not ordered from Brain 3D, Brian puts sweet tarts in because he's just an awesome fella. So there you go. I'm such a weight lunatic with these Cinesplores that I actually run titanium hardware on a bunch of the locations where I'm not worried about it breaking and causing an issue. And I just noticed that I'd put the... I only run the titanium hardware in the front because these rigs are nose heavy, and I'm trying to fix the CG on them. I also have run out of titanium hardware, and I refuse to buy it because it kind of sucks. Hey, there's the other screw. It was in there. Did anybody from chat call that? No. My dad says if you strip the threads out of the plastic, you can take a toothpick, coat it with super glue, roll it around in the stripped hole, and the screw will hold again. That's a pretty cool trick. CiottiFPV's solution, I mentioned this all to Stan, and I was like, yo, can you please maybe put the brass fittings in? Like, every time I crash these beautiful ducts, they just strip out. Stan's solution is that you hit the screw with a torch, and then it rethreads itself. And I tried that, but then the second that you basically, it's a duct that you have to do that every time you crash. So if you're out flying and you crash, you got to have a torch with you, and it's just not. I don't think it's a good setup. These brass collars are available. They're easy to put in, and yeah, in terms of peace of mind, I've had these brass collars on the Cloud 149 ducts and on these HQ ducts, and I've bashed the hell out of them, and they've held up shockingly well. I mean, the ducts are going to take a beating, right? Like, you disarm from 20 feet and it falls down. These ducts are going to take a hell of a hit. So I want metal on metal in mine. But that's a really cool trick, Dad. I didn't think of that. More duct weights. Let me see. I think I have a V4 duct now that I... let's see. Hey! Alright, so here's an FPV Cycle V4 duct. Throw this on the scale. And then I'm going to grab one of those Cloud 149 tall boy ducts, which are my favorites for flying around people because they're the safest. TPU, motors, frames, ducts. There we go. Oh wait, no, here they are. They're on the ground. All right, so 10.9 grams for the incredibly fragile V4 FPV Cycle duct, and then the Cloud 149 tall duct, 10.4 grams as well. I really like these ducts. They're very, very slow, which is really nice for flying around people, and they make the rig corner better because, again, they're so not aerodynamic. It kind of always wants to stop, so you're just like forcing it forward, and the rig really just drives around like an RC car with these Cloud ducts. You can get these from Race Day Quads. So there's a whole bunch of duct weights. Like I said, my favorites are these molded, poured Stan FPV ducts, and then you just buy some of the collars and install them with your soldering iron. Realistically, you probably want to buy 2 sets of these because you might screw them up doing it for the first time. Look, there are YouTube videos on the right way to put the little collars on, so do a little research, and you might be able to get it right on the first shot. Again, huge shout out to Brain 3D for sending this stuff over, for sending the boner over. Very, very, very cool of Brian. I wouldn't have any of this data for you guys if it weren't for Brian from Brain. So show him some love next time you need TPU. Get it from the man himself. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys some flight footage, and I'm just going to kind of like let this... So this little edit that I made here is going to be available to patrons. It's going to be on the Patreon-only YouTube playlist, which has almost 90 Patreon-only live streams, rough cuts, half-done edits, sketchy stuff that I don't want to be public on the internet. And yeah, this is going to be on there in full 4K. Come to think of it, so that what I'm going to play for you guys here is 1080 because this stream outputs in 720, so it's pointless. But I am going to make a version of this that is 4K. And I'm going to do that by coming down here, and then coming down here, and... Alright, awesome. So... Test big. Alright, so the Mac Mini is crunching that down. Yeah, alright, so here was the testing. Not scientific at all, but data is great. This is like my little local kind of testing spot. The problem with this testing is that the up tilt is different between these different rigs. The wind is doing different things. The tunes are very similar. The motor setups are very similar, not completely similar. There are way too many variables to really like take this test as gospel or anything like that. But it's actually the results are way more interesting than I thought. So let me come in here and actually, I don't even know if this is going to play. Hey, look at that. It is going to play. All right, so I'm going to let me from yesterday just explain what I was doing here. So here you guys go. So this is a GoPro Bones test on the CineWhoop with the Newbie Drone 2004 3000 kV motors. See how it is. And this is on the Brain 3D full protection TPU mount with the card cover and the big thumb screw. So this is about as heavy as it's gonna get. So that's this rig, all right, that we were just looking at. All right, I forgot I did this. So I brought the volume way down on the when I was actually flying, because it's just useless. But yeah, so some other things. So this is like 15 minutes long, so I'm gonna talk over this as much as I can. This was the first battery that I flew, so I was just kind of getting dialed in here. This is also DJI. You guys are going to get to see me fly CineWhoops with DJI and then CineWhoops with analog, and you can actually see a difference. I'm much more comfortable flying the CineWhoops really low to the ground with DJI on them, because I can see where I'm going. So yeah, this is some footage from the bones. Like I said, on the you patrons will have access to the raw files, so that if you want, you can compare the quality of the Hero 10 to the Hero 8. Hero 10's a little bit better quality. You know, the end. There you go. Now you don't have to spend all your time. But yeah, so this is like the little testing route that I kind of planned out. I wanted to fly these 3 rigs on the same route at roughly the same speed. The wind was doing different things. You're going to see me getting kicked around by the wind quite a bit. I have run these through Real Steady Go without horizon lock and set as low as possible. It didn't really do much of anything, because it's I'm flying it like a CineWhoop. But you see that? Look at the wind. The wind almost slammed me into the building there. And then you can really see it up in the front of the building here. It was really nasty. The heavier rigs didn't do any better in the wind. I didn't notice, but it wasn't the same amount of wind every time, so Lord only knows if there's an actual difference there. I don't think there's a significant enough difference to offset the fact that a heavier rig is gonna, it's just not gonna perform as good. Look at that wind. Woo! So yeah, this is the Cinesplorer Newbie Drone 2004, 3000 kV motors. The camera is at roughly, I would say, like 10 degrees up tilt. Like, look how slow I'm going right now, but it's still, it's still not giving you a ton of sky in the view. I did not get like a stopwatch out. Ugh, I probably should. Well, I don't know. The most interesting thing from this testing is the amount of distance traveled. I flew the same loop on all of these, but they covered a different amount of distance. The run time is kind of all over the place, because this one had a lower up tilt. The next one that I'm going to fly has a higher up tilt, so I'm covering ground quicker. What's interesting is, yeah, they all covered a similar amount of distance, but it is a little bit different. I don't know. I don't know if I learned anything from this testing, but it's interesting to just kind of look at it. I wish I'd thrown like a little stopwatch up to get the run times, because that's what I'm most interested in. But to be honest, like, yeah, I'm interested in runtime, but here, ready? The lighter it is, the more runtime it's gonna have. Okay, there we go, all set. So right there is when in my DJI goggles the low voltage went red, which I think that means it dropped below 3.5 per cell. So this is just me coming home. So you can see that amount of distance traveled, and now I'm about to talk to you guys here in the video again, so I'm gonna shut up. So there we go. I missed the timestamp on the goggles, but as soon as I did that hard left turn, that's when the goggles went red. The voltage readout in the goggles went red, and that was right over there. Let's do the same thing with the Tooth Fairy 2, very similar setup. It's a 20-gram lighter rig, but we're gonna be putting a full-size Hero 8 into it. So let's see how far that rig gets. This is super unscientific, but data's data. All right, this is a test on the Tooth Fairy 2. And this has the Axis 2004 motors, which are a little higher kV, but I have the motor scale down to be the same kV as the previous rig. This is the full-size Hero 8, full-weight Hero 8 on the Tooth Fairy, which is a 20-gram lighter rig. Other than that, everything is the same. Gemfan D76 props, same HQ molded ducts, even the same tune between these two rigs. So, again, not a scientific test, but a test nonetheless. That's this rig.
Same path, and I'm gonna make a big motion when the voltage goes red.
That's this rig here with the slimmed down kind of TPU that we were looking at before. Well, hold on. I'm on the right scene. Yeah. All right. So there we go. So here you go with this. We're gonna run the same route. So yeah, this is the Tooth Fairy 2, slightly, I lied, in that I said it's the same tune. It was the same tune at one point, but it is no longer the same tune. Very, very similar. The arms are a little bit thicker on this rig, but the center section is a little bit lighter. Much tighter build, very difficult build. Those of you that watched me live stream this build have a good idea of how frustrating this was to build. But it is doable. And it flies really good. So yeah, that's what you're watching here. This is another DJI rig, and now I've got one battery in, so I'm a lot more comfortable. So I'm playing around, flying really low to the ground. I didn't want to fly too low to the ground to like benefit from any kind of ground effect, but I kind of couldn't help myself. Flying really low to the ground is one of the best ways to work on your throttle control. So I really try to fly as low as I can, as often as I can. But, like I said, I'm trying not to get so low that I would benefit from any kind of ground effect. I don't really think that there is a benefit from ground effect when you're flying at this speed. That's more for when you're flying slowly or even hovering, that ground effects can net you some real benefits. So I don't think that's a real concern here, but you know, on all of these batteries, I was trying to fly as low as I possibly could. So, in theory, among all the other inconsistencies between these flights, it's, you know, near as makes no difference kind of thing. You can see the flag there. You can see the wind is really ripping towards the front of the building here, which, again, the wind is really the thing that I think completely invalidated these tests, because every time that the rig is getting hit by the wind, the PID loop is going to go bananas to try to fight against it, and that's going to use up a good amount of juice. So, yeah, not super useful testing, but interesting nonetheless. It was really cool to see them travel a different amount of distance. You'll get to see it in a little bit here. What else can I say about the Tooth Fairy 2? Nothing. Let me make sure I'm staying on top of chat. Avix says you accidentally timing people out. Don't do that. Don't time people out. What are you doing? Don't time them out. Stop it. King Turkey says, come on, people, don't have to smash it, but click that like button, show your collective support for Grand Central. Thank you, brother. Yeah, like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. It helps. Severin says, would you recommend Cinesplore? I would. It's what I fly, so yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Hot girl. There it is. Brandon's Baked Bean says, for the money, I kind of think GoPro would have included an ND16 since there's less of a battery and, you know, it's freaking expensive. Yeah. I guess they're using all their money paying that one person to build these damn things. Yeah, Severin, whenever you see a pro pilot flying a rig, like they would definitely recommend that rig because that's what they're using. Look at that. So that's where it ran out. See how much less ground it covered? It wasn't that much. I'm gonna talk about it here. So let me shut my yap and you guys can listen to me talk about it. Well, there you go. Much less of a difference than I thought. The difference in distance was from there to just over there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of parking spots was the difference in distance. I think the difference in run time was a little bit less. Was a little bit more drastic. Because I think that I was going a little bit faster, but the difference in actual distance traveled was not much at all. And on tomorrow's live stream, it's today if you're watching this, probably right now, we're gonna measure the weight difference between this Tooth Fairy 2 with the full fat GoPro versus the CineXplorer with the beautiful Hero 10 bones that Brain 3D very kindly sent over. Shocking. Yeah, I thought there'd be more of a difference. I'm gonna back this up and do it one more time. Later. All right, now we're gonna go up. So I flew another battery, and that's when the camera came unplugged and that file is corrupted. So the rig that I just flew is 500 grams. It's 497, but 500 grams is the rig that you guys just watched me fly. Versus the rig from the first battery there was 461 grams. So 40 gram weight difference. And now this flight here that you're about to watch is the analog rig, which is with the FPV Cycle V3 ducts, 495 grams. All right.
On the
CineXplorer, which is pretty much the same, slightly lighter from the discontinued Brother Hobby VY motors. But yeah, another similar rig. Different ducts though. These are the FPV Cycle V3 ducts, and I'm also really curious if the ducts are in view. This is a custom Brain 3D GoPro mount that he made for me, with the GoPro set back a little bit, and there might be a little bit of duct in view down here where my finger is. I have a feeling that it'll disappear in real steady go, but we'll see. Another quick test here. Do the same route. Hey, this is a battery that was charged 2 days ago, so this isn't really a fair fight. But we'll do it anyway. All right, so here we go. Unfortunately, I couldn't fly the extra lightweight rig with the Gep RC Naked Hero 8 on it because I put D76 ducts on it, but they were. I'm sorry, I put D76 propellers on it, but they were rubbing the ducts. I'm flying pretty low on analog there. I don't know. My comfort level on the DJI rigs was way higher from just being able to see. But as you can see here, you can still fly an analog rig, an analog CineWhoop, very accurately. Yeah, you can't see as well, but you've got less latency. That's nice. And you've got proper OSD, and there's a lot of benefits. You can see up here, like I'm not locked in on this pass back here, not as locked in as I was on DJI. And there's a couple other instances where that kind of happens, where it was just like, you know, when you come up to like the island there, like you don't know if there's an extra big stick sticking up in the analog goggles, whereas with the DJI goggles you do. And that on digital you can also look farther ahead. But I mean, look at that, you know, like flying nice and low, just being confident and just, hey, it's a parking lot, it's going to be clear, I can fly low to the ground. A lot of that though comes with just flying 1,000,000 batteries. So if you haven't flown 1,000,000 batteries, yeah, you're going to be more comfortable on digital, because you're going to be able to see where the hell you're going. I doubt that you guys can see any difference in the quality at this stream going out at 720. The very first battery flown was on the Hero 10 bones, and then these two batteries are on the full frame Hero 8. You can kind of see a little bit of, I mean, if you really want to, if somebody really wants to dig in, feel free to rewind and put a stopwatch on for, I would actually love that. If you're going to do that, type it in the chat though, so that like 15 people don't do it. I would love to know what the flight times were on each one of these. Like I said, it doesn't really matter all that much, because I was covering ground at a different rate. The wind was up and down and up and down and up and down. So yeah, it's not going to tell us a lot, but it would be interesting to know that number, and also to compare that number to the distance traveled, right? The very first battery, we got to the end of the back part of the parking lot. That second battery on the heavier rig, I pulled the ripcord 5 rows of parking spaces earlier. Now though, we're on an analog rig, so I don't have the DJI OSD, which turns red. So I'm assuming, at this point, I realized it, and I assumed that the DJI voltage turns red when it drops below 3.5 per cell. So I turned around and came home when this rig was, so there's passing the rig with the bones. I assumed that, yeah, I flew this battery down to 3.49 per cell. That could have been wrong, but it covered a bunch of extra distance. Look at this, coming all the way back now. Here's the Ultimate Frisbee, folks. And as you can see, this is analog, flying super low. And now this is not run through real steady. You can actually see in the bottom here, in the corner, there is just ever so slightly the tiniest little bit of duct in view. I can't resize it because Mac. There we go. There is the tiniest little bit of duct in view here. Same exact runtime as the Bones rig in terms of distance. I'll be damned. That's wild. So slightly lighter weight motors. You know, these ducts are very similar to those Port HQ ducts. That's a really interesting test. We're gonna weigh this rig on the live stream as well. That's wild. Okay. I don't know what to say. Be good. Fight. So you might be a little confused if you're really paying attention. The first battery that I flew with the Bones, I got to the back of that parking lot section, and then I got to the corner, and then I turned around and diagonaled home. I backed that up with a second battery on the Bones rig, where I flew a little bit faster, I think. That's where it came unplugged, and I don't have the video from that battery. And on that one, it covered the exact same distance that you just saw, the Hero 10 Bones rig. So yeah, that's what I was talking about. I got to the exact same spot up in front of the Ultimate Frisbee players when the goggle OSD went red, and I turned around and came back. So yeah, really I'm really shocked. There's just too many variables. I'm really shocked that there wasn't more of a difference, but there were just too many variables. I was really surprised at how well the heavier rigs did with the full-size Hero 8 on it. But we're fighting against gravity. A lighter rig is going to have more runtime. The end. You know, this is me testing in God knows what environment, different amount of wind, different amount of up tilt, me flying different speeds, me avoiding different things, the PID loop doing God knows what. you know, we can't really put much stock in these test results, but it's interesting to see them, and I thought you guys might get a kick out of it. Hopefully you did. 636 got timed down. Easy, mods, easy. When you're gonna time somebody out, you gotta be really careful. Severin says, oh no, we got that. We got that. Ricardo says, do you edit in ProRes or H260, 264, 265, and then export 4K to YouTube? So who is Matt? Down at the bottom of all my descriptions and all my videos, there's a link to the best YouTube export settings by a guy named Who Is Matt here on YouTube. If you just go to Google and type in Who Is Matt best YouTube export settings, that's what I use. And you don't really edit in ProRes or 264, 265. You record in 264, 265, but whatever. Yeah, just use his settings. They work really well. Athix says, accidentally time people out. Airwave Ant says, it looked like you weren't wearing shoes for a second. I'm wearing my flesh-colored shoes. Frosty Worldwide says, what KV are those rigs? One of them's 3000, one of them's 3150, the other one's 3750, scaled down to be 3150. Yeah, scaled down to be 31. Motor limited down, I should say, to be 3150. Elmo Hawk says, do you like the little antenna on the Vista, or do you prefer the bigger Cherry, if it makes any difference? I haven't really paid much attention to the antennas that I'm running on the Vistas yet. In terms of flight performance, they all seem to work pretty well. The rule of thumb, though, is that the smaller the antenna, the tighter the tolerances, and the less durable it's going to be. The bigger the head on the antenna, the more durable it's going to be, because the things can come ever so slightly out of line, and it's not quite as bad as a really small little antenna. So that's how I kind of, choose antennas. Quadzimoto says, can you put the link up for those brass collars? I don't really have one. If you just go to Amazon and type in brass collars, you'll get a million of them. Scott Gillen says, howdy, buddy. And just like that, we're caught up on chat. Why am I so hungry? I ate an unbelievable amount of food today. CineWhoop testing. Here's the GoPro. What is this? Can this computer not play any of these files? Turn. It cannot. That's okay. Hit my Instagram for some of the ultimate frisbee flying around. That was kind of fun. And I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about in terms of the Hero 10 Bones and the words eluded him. What's the deal here? Why is this? Hold on. There it is. I lost this cable. Shit's flying around. What's happening here? Whoa. Ugh. Hold on. Ugh. Come on. Stay up there, please. No, don't fall. Yeah. What didn't I cover? Anything? Can you guys think of anything? I think the biggest unknown, the thing that I'm most interested in learning about, so I'm going to start tearing this stuff down, because this, the Hero 10 Bones needs to go back to Brian. And, hey, also, I'm gonna be at Maggie's place for the next week and a half or so. I'm gonna try to get back here on Monday night for Monday night giveaways. But yeah, so things are gonna kind of slow down a little bit. But I am gonna live stream from there. I'm not gonna be flying CineWhoop, so it's gonna be us just hanging, talking, whatnot. RunCam Thumb, thank you so much, Brian. Brian from Brain 3D has sent a RunCam Thumb for giveaways. So this Monday, one of the giveaways is going to be for the RunCam Thumb. I think I might make that the super chat giveaway prize, as well as the other things that we usually give away. So yeah, another huge shout out to Brain 3D for sending over a Runcam thumb for you beautiful people. You know what I mean? It ain't for me, it's for you. What do you think of that? What did I do that for? So yeah, that'll be super fun. I'm looking forward to you guys letting me know. Brian did say that he is kind of shocked at how cheaply it is made. He said the SD card door is like a joke, but for $50, it's the fact that there's any HD cam for $50 is pretty wild. So I feel like the Runcam thumb on like a 65mm CineWhoop, man, I think that's a real cool little setup there. I feel like that's a hell of a potent little dealio. So I'm still down. And I mean, for $50, like, that's awesome. I wonder if you can get it on Amazon with the Shurion. Let's see. They sell the mount. Nah, I can't get it on here yet. Interesting. That's all right. What else do you guys want to talk about? Can you think of anything? I hate to ever end a live stream before it's been 2 hours. It feels like I didn't do my job properly. But maybe I actually will, because I am really hungry for some strange reason. I'm just a ravenous beast today, apparently. What do I have? Oh, hey, I thought that the Stick and Dick End Fund was going to end tonight, but the 533 thumb grippies have not arrived yet, and when they do arrive, that's when it's going to end. So I have not updated the Google Docs spreadsheet, but you know what? Let's do it right now, because there has been a bidding war. There has been a bidding war going down with that. So let me really quickly come in here to my email, and I should have an unread email or two from PayPal. Every single window is just popping up on top of every other window. Okay. Where are we at here? Where are we at? Okay. Owner update. There was a race. There was a bidding war to be the first person that the stick ends got shipped out to. Okay, so here it is. Here's the one that I didn't get. Kevin Sumner sent $17 via PayPal, and I'm going to Brain 3. God damn it, Brain 3D with a $4.99 super chat, and the most adorable little picture of a, what's that? A Shiba? A Shiba? Doing something dirty. So over here on the Discord channel, if you're a patron, you have access to all these Patreon-only channels. One of them is called Dick Ends, and in there's a link to the Google Doc spreadsheet. And in this spreadsheet, hold on, let me do this camera, because I want to pull up my email. Kevin Sumner says 344 plus 17 equals 361 last of the night. So let me just check that. Okay, cool. So I got that added in already. All right, so Kevin Sumner is at 361. I can share my screen again. But Parker is actually at 367. So Parker is currently going to get the M4s first. I'm gonna kind of, and this might be, yeah, like Daniel's out of place here. This is not, yeah, this is not. Oh. What? No, what, no, what do you, why? What? Why do I have to enable, fuck you, are you kidding me? You know what, I hate you, Google, I hope you burn in hell. God damn it, I didn't mean to do that, sorry Kevin. Yeah, so there you go. Kevin Sumner's at 361, Parker's at 367. Guys, thank you so much for going absolutely bananas and covering the stick ends, because I got in a little over my head on those stick ends. I didn't realize it was going to cost so much money. So, all right. So that's good to go. So I am caught up on the stick end fund. You can access that spreadsheet on the Discord channel. And all right, cool. Close it out of my email. Close it out of this. All right. Bob Knox just dropping a link to CiottiFPV.com. Thank you, dude. As well as the Fiverr and Patreon links. Bob Knox just says Hero 6. Oh, yeah, Bob, I apologize. I owe you a reply on that. Bob, can you do me a favor? Can you send me another message? My brain is very scrambled. Just as a reminder. Sorry, brother. What else? What else? Ricardo says, Runcam Thumb cheap with gyro info. There are photographers that put one on top with a cold shoe so they can later stabilize their recordings. That's pretty slick. That's really slick, actually. Thanks again, Brain3D, for the super chat. PDXFPV says, have I missed anything critical about the bones yet? Not really. It's a naked Hero 10. There's not, like... Yeah, it's a naked Hero 10 that you can get a warranty from GoPro on. So it's a really big deal. It's a lot heavier than the other naked cameras, but if you crash one of the other naked cameras, it's probably going to break, and you're done. That was a $300+ crash. Whereas the Hero 10 bones, you can smash the shit out of it and they'll replace it twice, and that makes it a ton cheaper. You know, what's it sell for? $400? Let's see. $400, right? So for $400, you can get basically 3 of them. You know, so $150 per, roughly, because you're also going to have to pay the $5 a month, and there might be like a little service fee or something like that. But yeah, if you break 2 of them a year, which you probably will because the naked GoPros are incredibly fragile, they're $150 each, and that's amazing. That's really, really shockingly inexpensive. Oh, and they kind of force you to do the 1 year protection plan thing. Interesting. They knock $150 off the price. Technically, it's $550, but it's only $399 if you get the 1 year GoPro subscription. But here's the thing: if you're not gonna get the GoPro subscription, don't buy the Hero 10 Black Bones. It doesn't make any sense to get without that. You wouldn't, though. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're not gonna pay $550 rather than $400 when the 1 year subscription thing is only $5 a month. So that doesn't really matter. Thank you, Bob. Airwave Ant says, I'm almost certain there's a deductible for GoPro bones. Yeah, there is. At least when I used the GoPro service, there was a deductible, but it was really cheap. Of course, they're not going to talk about it, but yeah, there is a little bit of a deductible. It's still, it's not going to be a $400 deductible though. So it's still, if you want to fly with a naked GoPro, this is the way to go for sure. Unless you're absolutely trying to save every possible gram. Because there is a significant weight difference between the 10 bones, and the only one I have to test is this Hero 8 Get Bar C setup. But if you missed it, the bones is 60 grams, and this little guy is 26 and a half grams. Here's the other thing. On this little guy, you get a screen. You get a little screen here, which is really nice. This doesn't have any screen at all. Yeah, you can just hook it up to your phone and GoPro quick and blah, 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 which you probably want to do anyway because then you get a viewfinder. This is an LCD screen. There's no viewfinder on it. So, I don't know if this having a screen is really a selling point because realistically you're going to be using GoPro quick. But it's a thing. Veritas Weasel says, if you were going to buy only one GoPro, would you make a GoPro 10 or a Bones Pro 10? Now, if you're going to have only one GoPro, it's kind of insane for it to be this. This is a niche product. I mean, I guess unless you're only ever going to fly CineWhoop, but even then, the full-size GoPro is, in my opinion at least, definitely the way to go. Built-in battery, durable as hell. Not durable as hell, but compared to this, durable as hell. You push this is, yeah, if you're only gonna have one GoPro, it's this or a Session 5. I'm trying to make the case for this to be your only GoPro. It would have to be if you're never gonna fly freestyle. If you're never going to fly freestyle ever, and you're only going to do CineWhoop flying, this could be your only GoPro. If you're ever going to fly freestyle, though, you got to have one of these. This, even having 2 replacements of this per year, you're going to get through those flying freestyle. This is just not going to crash well. Not to mention that, again, 2 per year with this. You buy this from Best Buy, and you can go through 200 per year. And if you're going to be flying a GoPro if you're going to be flying a GoPro Hero freestyle, you're going to break a shitload of them, a ton of them, and the GoPro protection plan is not gonna replace these at a rate that you want to kind of deal with. So, if this is too heavy for you for freestyle, Session 5s are on eBay. That's my preferred camera. There's the DJI Action 2. I think the footage from that looks terrible because it's super fisheye and it's way too wide. Definitely don't fly an OG naked GoPro freestyle because there's 0 replacements. Riot9 says, try again, GoPro, you failed us. I wouldn't say that. I think this is a pretty big win. The fact that they're doing any kind of warranty, replacement warranty, is just absurd. I think this is great, to be honest. I really do. This, I will more than likely buy one of these. I guarantee you guys that I buy one of these, actually. Because the big thing that's been holding me back from the naked GoPros is that when you break them, not if, when you break it, you're done. And you're out $300-400, and that's nuts. This doesn't fix that problem, but it helps that problem a huge amount. The whole it coming unplugged or forgetting to hit stop thing, I will probably not use this on any important gigs that I'm on, but I want to have this for sure. If I'm flying, so you know where this would really shine? If you're flying like a concert above tons of people, this. If any situation where there's like a half decent chance that you might bump into somebody or slam into somebody, this for sure, because it weighs half as much, and if there's a chance that you're going to hit a person, every gram counts. So this absolutely has its place. I love that GoPro made this. I'm very impressed by it. I don't know if I'm impressed by it. It's a naked GoPro. What is there to be impressed by? I'm impressed that they're doing the warranty support. That's what impresses the hell out of me. The camera itself, it's a Naked Hero 10. It's a slightly heavier than most Naked Hero 10. Which is none of this is a bad thing. These are all good things. GoPro made us a fucking camera, guys. What world is this? Like, tell somebody 4 years ago that GoPro is going to make us an FPV camera. They would call the police on you for being an actual crazy person. Like this is rad. This is wild. I would rather them have made a session for us, but this is really incredible that they made this for us. And they did make it for us. This is not for anybody else. Nobody other than us is going to run this. Who the hell is going to have power to feed into this thing? And for what reason would you ever feed power into this thing if you're not doing it from an FPV rig, right? They made this specifically for us. And like we talked a couple streams ago about how, like, I'm sure that they're subsidizing the money that they're losing on this by getting free marketing by making this for us. And we went pretty deep on that a couple streams ago. But this is incredible. This is incredible that this exists. And I'm almost certainly gonna buy one of these. Riot9 says, I'm certain Brandon's Baked Beans says the mic was horrible compared to the regular, so that's another minus for the bones. Very true, the mic is worse, but as soon as you arm the quad, every single bit of audio that you get is completely worthless, especially when you're on set. So the fact that they put the mic into this is kind of insane anyway. It allows you to talk to it when it's disarmed, and that's fine. So yeah, I don't care at all that the mic is not good, and I bet you if you just put a piece of tape over the hole for the mic, that it would actually improve it quite a bit. Oh, probably not though, because the whole thing is slotted open. Yeah, I mean the mic is gonna suck, but all the mics on all the GoPros suck. All the audio that they collect while you're flying is worthless, especially with a CineWhoop, right? What's CineWhoop audio? You know, like they could have left the mic off of it and it wouldn't really matter. Airwave Ant says, I only fly freestyle, so to me the bone doesn't make any sense. Yep. Do not fly this freestyle, guys. Do not. This is the worst freestyle camera imaginable, in my opinion. Unless somehow it's magically durable, but I really doubt it. I really, really, really doubt it. Even like the plastic that they used here, this is like hard. This is like hard, brittle plastic. You crash this thing in the concrete, it's just gonna disappear. It's just gonna dematerialize into the fucking ether of outer space. Yeah, this is not a freestyle camera. Anybody flying this freestyle is I mean, good for them, but and their rig's gonna fly better because it's light, but you can't crash. Not a freestyle camera. Bob Noxious says, Dan636 said he's in timeout. I can't see on my chat that he is. He's definitely back because he's able to post. What are you guys doing? What are you mods doing? Stop it. Airwave Ant says you can put on a stick-on dead cat material. You could, but the entire thing is vented, so that's not going to do anything. You would have to put dead cats. You'd have to put a dead cat on here, on there. You'd have to put a dead cat down here. You'd have to put another one back here. You'd have to put another one on the top, and that's it. So you'd have the furriest camera in the entire world, and then you'd have to put a dead cat material over these two. The microphone doesn't matter. As soon as we arm our quads, the audio is completely worthless. This is for a freestyle rig. It's a little bit different, right? But this is not a freestyle camera. So the fact that this even has a microphone means nothing. There's no reason for this to have a mic at all. Other that it's nice that it does, because before you arm, you can say, hey, this is so-and-so rig, blah, 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 blah. And then after the battery, you can say, hey, a little bit of, this rig needs a little bit more P gain. Dial it in when you get home. So that's good. The quality of the mic doesn't matter at all, though. Dan636 says, happened twice, Pixel Discords. Weird. Easy, mods, easy. Don't do anything, mods. Let me do it. It's fine. That would be a lot of muff. Hey, it's 9:55. Close enough. I'm gonna wrap this up. We hit all of our topics. Chat's kind of slowing down. I'll see you guys on Friday at 7 o'clock. Although maybe not. There's a chance that I won't stream Friday. I probably will, though. It'll be Studio 2, and we'll just be hanging out, chatting. No tiny whooping. And yeah. So bring your questions on Friday. We'll do CiottiFPV Reacts. Get your asses over to Discord, the text channel, CiottiFPV Reacts. Fill that up for me, and I'll react to whatever you want. What else? We'll take a look at, we'll go through Discord. We'll go through the Patreon Hangout. We'll go through Video Collective, CiottiFPV Reacts. Yeah. All FPV retailers. Probably be fun. Vertescusa says, cat fur on a Bones GoPro. Can you say pimp my drone? All right, people, I love you. Be good. I'm going to get some food and play some Gran Turismo 7. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com. Click all the buttons. Love you. Here comes some flying. Eventually. I gotta restart OBS. Hold on. Be right back. It's gonna pinwheel for a second. Promise I'll come back. Or will I? We've got audio. Enjoy some flying from a very cloudy, ugly day from like 2 years ago. Love you guys. Be good.
Dude, that thing way